I'd like to describe a little bit how we go about using an iPad as a virtual whiteboard in Zoom. The motivation for this is really simple. Video conferencing apps are voice and image focused. So if you use any video conferencing apps in the classroom, the challenge is that it's very hard to do interactive problem solving using only your voice and your face. There are some ways to try to go about resolving this. There is, for example, in Zoom, a built-in whiteboard, but it doesn't work terribly well. You have to use a mouse to try to draw things. It's not terribly intuitive. So the suggestion I had was to possibly use an iPad as an interactive whiteboard, and this would allow you to work on the iPad while talking and present it to students. This gets around the problem of interactive problem solving with students. It certainly doesn't completely solve the problem. After all, the students cannot do the same thing back without the same equipment, but at least it gives you a tool to use. The idea is, it turns out that the iPad can broadcast its screen via a technology called AirPlay. Use screen mirroring, and you can share that screen with a Mac or PC, and your video conferencing software can share the iPad screen to the students. So this is one way of allowing you to use any app on the iPad in which you can draw as a whiteboard. Now, the refinements I would make to that is, first of all, this works particularly well if you have an Apple Pencil or Logitech crayon to draw on the screen with. You probably want an app that supports screen mirroring so you don't have to deal with students seeing things such as notifications on your screen. The app I use is Notability. It's relatively inexpensive. There is also GoodNotes that I'm aware of that works in a similar manner. I also use an app on my computer called AirServer to receive the AirPlay signal. Now, this is not necessary if you happen to have Zoom. Zoom can receive the AirPlay signal without any assistance. However, AirServer, it seems to be much more responsive than Zoom. So I'd like to now show you a demo of how this is done. So you can see I've opened up Zoom. So I go to the Zoom screen sharing. I click here, and you can see this option. This is on the Mac version. It looks a little different on the Windows version, to share the iPhone and iPad via AirPlay. So I click that option, and I say share, and you'll see this screen come up. You'll notice it provides instructions to tap screen mirroring on the iPad, and then in my case choose Zoom Frederica, which is the name it gave to this AirPlay server. So you can see on the iPad, I pull down and I activate screen sharing, and I click on Zoom Frederica. And when I do so, the screen is mirrored from the iPad to the Mac. And then I can return to my drawing app, and anything I draw on this iPad app appears on the screen and is shared with the students. And so that was our demo. If you have any questions, you can contact me, but I've put together a document on my website that also provides written instructions for using AirPlay to share an iPad screen to your students. And it includes also detailed instructions on how to set up AirServer if you want to do that.